Ron Reichel, who is the president of our Main Street Board. Well, thanks again for coming out.
I speak loudly, so I'm going to just try doing it without the microphone. If you can't hear me in the back, please just raise your hand and let me know. First of all, I want to welcome, in Texas terms, all of you all here. Thanks for coming. We've got, as Kirk said, a number of speakers tonight, local and also from out of town. In fact, we're starting out with 3 Jims who are all out of town. One first question could be, why are we here? Why do we want the brand? What will it do for us? If you look at it, Nike has a brand, Budweiser has a brand, Denver, Fort Worth, other towns in Iowa has a brand. Why do we want one? Why is it interesting to us? So our first 2 speakers will talk to that. I would like to introduce Jim Gossett, Executive Director of the Carroll Area Development Corporation. He's also a member of Manning's Betterment Foundation. Jim is a help to Manning in economic development. Also, and extremely thankful that Jim Owen from Budweiser Distributing, or as he says, Jim Budman. He's going to talk, again, as I said earlier, certainly Budweiser has a very developed brand. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So Jim and Jim, if you come up, please.
I'm going to try without the microphone as well. I've never been accused of being quiet. So in the back, again, if you can't hear, please raise your hand quick and we'll try to speak up. Jim and my role, as Ron pointed out, was to set expectations for tonight. What's the purpose of the brand? What's the benefit of the brand? And Jim and I are going to talk about that for just a moment. Now, I've been through several if not many, branding exercises with communities and organizations. And I can tell you it can be a long, tedious process. I can tell you that the members of the group who develop the brand sometimes don't go home every night liking each other like they ought to. Okay? But they all do it with one thing in mind. It's to really bring the organization or the community like Manning together under a message that will resonate not only locally, but with then target audiences. And I think they're going to tell you a little bit about how they define target audiences and who we're trying to send this message to besides the local folks. But I can tell you that the branding message is all about making your community different in the minds of the people you're trying to send that message to, locally and from outside the borders of Manning, Carroll County, and even western Iowa. What makes you different? That's the first thing you gotta think about. Next is, what is the value of what makes you different to the people you're trying to talk to? Okay? So what makes you different, and what is the value of that to your target audiences? And finally, and this is the most important part, how do you center around a core message? A core message then that's concise and it has an impact. And how do you do that? Those are the purposes of a brand. Find your target audience, find what makes you different, what is the value to your target audiences, and what is that core message? Because without a core message, all you've got is in Manning's case, a very long list of great things about Manning. That core message ties all these things together, and that's what you're going to hear tonight. Now, the benefit of the brand and how that works, we're going to learn about Manning's new brand tonight. But to talk about the benefit of existing brands, we, as Ron and Kirk said, brought somebody in, Jim Allen, who knows a little bit about brands and how to market them. So, Jim, you can talk to them a little bit about the benefit of a brand.
Yeah, I'm going to use this, and you must have read my speech, so I really don't have much to say. And I want to thank the mayor. He said my 4 favorite words, the bar is open, so I like that. I'm Jim Owen, and I've been at Owen Distributing for 30 years. We've been a Budweiser wholesaler for 62. So branding is an important part of what we do all the time. In fact, all of our suppliers do nothing but want to build a brand. And Jim hit on it. When they develop a brand, they look for their target audience, they find a taste profile, they find a niche of what they need to do, in this brand, and not every brand is for everybody. So I'm going to touch on a few things that we do and a few brands we have, and one of those would be Shock Top. Now, Shock Top is not a mainstream product. Target audience is a 21 to 28-year-old, non-traditional marketing. You're not going to see it on NASCAR. You're not going to see it on Super Bowl. Now, you might see it Super Bowl. But you're not going to see broad-based advertising for a product like that, because that's not the audience that they want. They want the trendy, the discovery people that go out and discover a brand. And that could be any type of brand. It could be a soft drink, could be a beer. So when we get information from our supplier, we get a brand profile. It's exactly that. Who the audience is, what's the taste profile, and how do we want to market that? If you take a Budweiser, for example, which is mainstream, Major League Baseball, NBA, NASCAR, college sports, big stadium marketing, big stadium signage. And it's up to us as a local distributor to carry that message through. So if there was a bass fishing contest, we wouldn't use Stella. Stella's an import brand from Belgium. You might use Stella for a bass cooking contest or a cooking show, but you're not going to use it for a fishing show or a fishing contest. You're going to use Busch Light. So the key thing about brands with us is you want to make an emotional tie. And I know you sit there and go, how do you make an emotional tie with a beer or anything else? But you want to make an emotional tie, and think of Corona. Think about Corona. They're advertising, consistent. It's a beach, it's a beach, it's a beach. And your beach could be your backyard, could be your deck, or you could go find a beach and sit on a beach. And you have that Corona and you're on vacation. So, as Jim said, some of the key things, be true to what your brand is. You know, Nike, you know when you see that swoosh, you know what Nike's all about. Nike's going to stay consistent with their message. So be true to what your brand is. Have a consistent message, and branding takes time. It takes a lot of time. Marlboro cigarettes started off as a feminine cigarette. Started off that way. And they changed that image. Put a guy on a horse, and the rest is history. So with that, you got a great concept going, but it takes time to build it. I want to congratulate you on all your work, and best of luck to you.